You'll remember that in an earlier tutorial we converted our video clips into black and white using the black and white filter. In this tutorial I'm going to achieve the same look, i.e. monochrome, but I'm going to do it in a slightly different way with different effects so that we can try and emulate, the look of those old black and white films that we always watch on a rainy Sunday afternoon. So let's go ahead. I'll open up my video effects and then I need to come down to this color correction category and then roll right down here to this penultimate effect, Tint. Left click and drag this on top of your clip. And as you'll see immediately, within the program monitor we now see this clip in black and white. Well, we're not going to leave it there. Let's have a look at how this is achieved. If I open up the Effect Controls tab, then you can see down here, within the tint area, that we have three controls. We've got Map Black, we've got Map White, and there's an amount slider just underneath. Now by default, black will be mapped to black and white will be mapped to white. Consequently, like this, that's why we see this black and white image. If you want to provide a more desaturated look and not completely black and white, then open up your amount slider and then drag it down from 100 to anywhere in between 0 and 100. Here, around about 63%, I quite like this. It gives me a really washed out desaturated look. But it's not really black and white because we still are retaining some of the colour. Anyway, I thought I would show you this slider. It acts like a blending slider really, a blend between the original and the black and white version. I'm going to take it back up to 100% so that we are completely in monochrome. And what I want to do, because I am using the tint effect, I want to provide a tint or a colour overlay shall we call it, so that we're not completely in black and white. And we can do this. First of all, if you want to use this square here, the white square, this allows us to open up our colour picker. Consequently, if you want to make this more of a sepia look, then choose orange towards the top here, within the vertical colour picker there, the spectrum, and then within the main colour area, choose the tonal orange that you want to use. I'll probably go for down here, and I'll OK it. Now, I'm not sure that's right. It's probably a little bit too strong. However, if I drag down the amount, then it's not too bad, although the problem is some of the colour starts to bleed back through. So I'll go back to 100% there, and I want to change this orange. So I'll reset by clicking here. We go back to black and white now. Our blacks and our whites are mapped appropriately to black and white. An alternative way of doing this is not using the colour square, it's by using the eyedropper just to the right. By selecting it, we now see the eyedropper tool, which means if I roll over the actual video itself, I can choose a colour from within the existing clip. Maybe if I choose this light blue from the sea, well, it's okay. Not quite what I'm looking for. So I'll reset once more and again choose my colour picker. Now I happen to know that these buildings here, the roof is a sort of terracotta orange colour. So I might actually use that. So by clicking there, right on the roof, although dark, I now take on that tonal colour. And of course it tints right across our film. Once more, although unsatisfactory, I could drag the amount slider down, but again we are getting the original colour bleeding through, so I'll take it back to 100%. And now I want to show you a different effect that might help combat this. If I come down here to this Luma Curve filter and then drag and drop this on top of our clip, now I just need to scroll down here, well now we can see this Luma waveform display here. And because this tint is quite strong, the clip is too dark. Well, if I left click right at the top right here and drag this over to the left, as you can see, I can lighten up our video. This time though, we don't get any original colour bleeding through, which is exactly what I want. The contrast is a little bit washed out still, so if I come down towards the bottom and left click and just drag a curve in, as you can see, I can adapt the contrast. Now I just need to come back up to the top and left click and drag to the left a little bit further, and there we go. We now see this sepia tinted video. It's perhaps a little bit blown out in the sky. The brightness there is perhaps a little bit too much. Maybe adjusting the contrast might help. Well, it certainly lightens up everywhere else. I think I can live with that. I certainly couldn't brighten it up any further. That's far too much. Maybe about there, although I still get that brightness in the sky, kind of blowing the highlights out a little bit too much. But anyway, you can see what we can do when we apply the tint effect and further correct with the Luma Curve.